Hey, I'm Courtney Cole, and I'm hanging out with Rob at Front Row Live.
Courtney, it's always a pleasure getting to talk to you, and I'm so glad that we can do this again. And I'm so glad for this new single. You just continue to make me fall deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper in love with your voice within every single track that you release. And this new single, Light, just, man, like this one, just, I dove right in. Um,
Thank you so much. First of all, it's amazing to be back on the platform. Like, I love what you do. I love you as a person. Like, so cool that you're still doing this after the crazy year we had. And thank you for the light, love. I'm so proud of this one, for a lot of different reasons. It's like a whole new sound for me. Kind of, I felt like the last EP Earthquake was kind of like a transition into a new sound. And then Light is kind of like, here it is. And it just felt really healing on so many levels for me to be able to just kind of come out with that, release that, and also talk about certain things that are really important to me, like sound healing and just healing our emotional trauma and stuff like that as well. So
right,
it's been fun.
right. And I love that healing is the key word here, just because I'm listening to the song and those notes that you sustain, I feel, I don't know, I feel like every time I'm listening to it, I feel like a weight just kind of like escapes me. And
Oh, I love
um, like it's incredible. Like, it's incredible how music can make you feel,
it.
even when you don't know that you need it. And that's what I experienced with Light. And so, talk to me a little bit about that creative process and kind of like talking about these like healing frequencies that you have on
Yes.
your music.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I love that you said it felt like something was, lifted off of you. I felt that way when I wrote it. I had wasn't booked on a writing session or anything that day. I was doing a workout. I go down to the stair. There's a staircase right here that I live kind of by the beach here in Southern California, and I go down to the staircase and I just run it. That's my workout. That's my gym. I love it. And then afterwards, sometimes I'll go and sit on the beach and just kind of meditate or just release some things from my psyche or whatever. And I was sitting there that day and I felt like this song was downloaded into me. And it was like until I got it out, it just I couldn't release it. And so I grabbed my phone really quick and I just stream of consciousness like started typing it out and it came out like a poem. You are light, through you I see all the gem and the dark in me. And it was like da 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 like a poem. And I didn't change any of it. It was like it was given to me. And I went home that day, sat at my keyboard, turned it on, and then turned on my voice memo. And the first melody that came out was the melody that's on the song now. It just felt very divine, felt very healing. It felt like something was given to me and then released from me. I don't know. It just felt very healing on so many levels. And then with the sound frequencies, I started really getting into that. I mean, I've always been a fan of it. When I was a kid, I used to love the hum of the vacuum cleaner. My mom, when she would vacuum, it was like very comforting for me, and I would sing and harmonize to it. So I've always loved frequencies. I've always known the healing power of frequencies. But then when you incorporate that into music, music is frequency, right? I mean, that's all of our instruments are tuned to frequencies. That's what it is. Um, so when you can turn those into ones that are like really powerful and really healing and are really good for the mind, body, and soul, I just think you have a really beautiful combination. So I chose to record my music in 528 hertz and am planning to do that from here on out.
How different does that change your recording process when you record in 528 hertz, and as well as your writing process? Does that really play a role?
No, not really. I mean, it's just making sure that when we're, recording everything, that everything's tuned to that. So 528 hertz is not technically 528 hertz. It actually means A equals 440 hertz, which our standard tuning is A equals 440. So it's not really up that much, but there's definitely a difference in a feeling. So no, it doesn't really change much of the process. You just have to be intentional about it and say, okay, we have to make sure our session's set up to do this, that our instruments are set up to do this, and just being mindful of that. So if I haven't worked with a producer or somebody that knows that, it really trips them up if they like finish the song or we recorded vocals and they didn't know. It's like we have to redo it all, you know.
So in that case, for this song in particular, did you do this yourself or did you work with a producer?
So I wrote this one by myself. Like I kind of mentioned before, the whole process on the beach. And then I brought it to Cameron Stymist, who does all of my producing, you know, for my projects. He did the whole Earthquake EP. And he is just someone that has really dove in deep with me. He's someone that takes the time to really understand my process and what I want to sound like as an artist. You know, for so many years, I felt like I was going into, you know, that 11 to 3 songwriter mentality where you write with a bunch of different people and write a song every single day. And you forget who you are as an artist and you're taking in so much collaboration with other people that you lose what you're trying to bring forth into the world. And so when I moved to California, I really narrowed that down, my people and the people that I wanted to collaborate with, and said, okay, what do I want to bring forth? What is my artistry? And I'm so grateful that I found Cameron because he will sit with me and really dissect that with me and just let it come forth and not rush me or, you know, try and push something out really quick. So I'm really grateful for him.
Now, the fact that you have had this experience with him throughout all of your music, and
Yeah.
then you bring us Light, which is a different side of your music, of your sound. How different was this chemistry now that you're kind of stepping into new boundaries with the songs that you're creating?
Wow, that's a really good question. You know, I don't feel like it was that different. I felt like this was like an organic transition. Like, um, you know, Spiritual was our first song that we did together. And I wrote Spiritual. I was kind of inspired to write that one. We had a little bit of an idea for it. And it just was organic. And that's where I was at that time. And then next was Right Direction. And that kind of developed and we put more instrumentation to that. And it was like by the end of that EP, we had already created and we're moving forward in a new sound. And then when we started with Light, like I had this idea for it. I got on my garage band and my garage band, it sounds so professional. I got on my garage band and like made like a little track, you know, it sounded terrible, but it got the idea across. And I sent it to Cameron and he was just like, it made sense from where we had been and then to where we were going. It just clicked. And so I don't know, it's just been an effortless free flow, really.
As far as your vocals, just because, like I mentioned, this note that you sustain throughout this song, I keep falling for it every single time. So, talk to me about learning how to control your vocals the way that you do specifically for this song. But you know, how else did you feel you stepped out of your comfort zone when it comes to singing?
I will say that this song is definitely out of my comfort zone when it comes um, and I love that you say the control thing because I don't always have that. I like when this song I see it in my come up on my set list when I'm playing live, I'm like, oh, here we go. Because I don't know how that note's gonna come out every single time. And I have my little workarounds, like if I lose air or whatever, how I fix it. But I definitely have had to learn to do that, and it's just been trial and error. With recording, you know, it's easy. You can do it 100 times over and over and over again until you get a really good one. But it's definitely been a process of learning how to use my air, and definitely a lesson on pitch. And I realize how pitchy I can be sometimes.
It's funny because I mean, you know how obsessed I am with spiritual and how I would like
Yeah,
just kind of sing it here and there, right? And but
yeah.
with this song, I'm loving it so much, but I don't even want to try and sing it just because I feel like listening to it, I'm like, wow, like this sounds exhausting to do. Like I can't imagine like what it's like when you go on tour. But
You know what's
but
funny? It actually is like when you breathe that way and you sing that song so many times when we recorded it, I got dizzy.
I believe
I
it.
felt like I was like losing air.
I believe it. So, I mean, but what made you want to have that sustained note? Because I feel like that's what makes it challenging. That whole uh, that note that you have on there throughout it. Like I feel like that's what makes it an exhausting song to kind of sing. But what made you want to have that there? Was that also just naturally just came out of you?
Yes, it was so weird. When I was sitting at my keyboard, like I'm going like this because my keyboard's right here next to me, so nobody can see that. I'm realizing that, but yeah, it's just I had the little poem that I wrote, and when I sat down to play it, that's just what came out. And what's really even more interesting about it is that it was really easy to sing that day because after I know after I wrote it and I went back to it and tried to sing it a couple times, I'm like, damn, this is really hard. Like, how did I write this? And it like seemed so easy that day. That was a weird day. That was like a cosmic day. I don't know. They're very rare.
So now that we have this song out, you said it's a new direction for you. So
Yeah.
are you still trying to discover that new direction, or would you say that this song is the new direction?
I feel like it's arrived. There's a lot of different I say that and I get chill bumps because I'm like, it kind of makes me emotional because I feel like I've been working so hard to find this for so many years. And I'm just so proud of this music. So it's just when I say that, it just feels good. But I do feel like I'm ever changing and ever evolving, but I do feel like I've arrived at something new with this. And there's so many different sides to my sound and what I'm doing. There's like a folkiness that comes out in a couple songs that I'm working on that aren't released yet. But that still kind of have like an electronic, like an org as weird as this sounds, opposite, but like an organic electronic sound to it, if that is even a thing. Um, but I don't know. It does feel like I've arrived in a way. I think this is kind of the new thing for me.
As you kind of mentioned, the electronic vibe or sound, I do love that you incorporated in this song. You have this, we start off with this like smooth, kind of like dreamy, like kind of song, and then you give me these electronics closer to the end. And
Yeah.
I love the mixture of the two. I never thought you could do a mixture of the two. But what really inspired these sounds? And again, was that another natural thing that just happened? I feel like this song just kind of created itself and just found the right vessel to kind of release it.
Yeah, it did. And it's probably a little bit more dance than like a lot of the stuff that I originally have done or am planning to do, but it just, like I said, came out that way. I lived in Nashville, for 12 years. And so there was a side of me there that was a big part of my sound. Just through country music and folk music, and that writing style there that will always be there. But I kind of describe it as like I went to Nashville to learn how to write a certain style of music, and now I feel like I'm taking the next couple of steps up on the staircase and making those things my own. And so I've always loved pop music. I've always loved electronic music. I've always loved folky music. So to bring them all together into one little thing is just kind of fun and interesting. And we live in a genreless world. I mean, we're listening to Spotify and, I grew up with Napster and making playlists on my little CDs and putting them in it's just it's all coming together now and it doesn't really have to be one thing or the other. It just could be, and I love that.
Well, I'm excited to hear more from you. I'm excited for this new sound. And do you have any plans for any upcoming shows? I mean, whether virtually or like actual live shows?
Yeah, so I actually just did my last official show for the year. I'm kind of taking some time to revamp a little bit, and but the goal is next year to release a song every month, whether it be a cover song or original. I'm kind of doing some fun things I have in the pipeline, and then a lot of new music coming. So with the original stuff, I'm going to release probably every other month, and then kind of form a little bit of an EP with that. So
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And as you mentioned, covers, I loved your cover of Incubus, I Miss You. I feel like
you.
you gave me a new perspective of that song. And uh, I love the way that you changed it up and made it a Courtney Cole kind of sound.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. I
can you
loved
give me
that
a
song.
me too. Me too. So the fact that you like, I'm always, whenever it's a song that I love, I'm always like hesitant when I listen to covers, just because like they don't always do it justice. But you not only made it justice, but you like kind of created it. You gave it your own twist.
Oh.
Can you talk to me a little bit about like how you made it your own during this process?
Yeah. So, man, okay, I loved that song in high school so much. And it's funny because I was like, I liked Incubus. I loved, like their singles. I wouldn't say that I was like really deep in some of the like album tracks, but that one always got my attention. I Miss You. There was something about it, and I can't even tell you what it is. It gave me this feeling. I feel it in my stomach when I'm talking about it. It just gave me this feeling and I loved it. And so I would play it on repeat. And I don't know, I was just starting to think about, there's a lot of people posting covers these days and stuff. And, a lot of that's based upon like, oh, well, what's going to make it go viral or what's going to make it do this or that. Me, I'm just like, you know what? I want to post some songs that I just love. Nobody really knows Incubus, I Miss You, and I don't care. I wanna bring light to it, you know what I mean? Because it's a great song, and, so I'm kinda some of the covers and stuff that I'm picking are ones that I have just been really inspired by and that are the reason that I love music, you know? There's a lot of songs out there like that that might be some of the deep album tracks, but I don't care, I'm gonna release them anyway. They're just too good not to, just shed a little light on.
We'll keep doing it. I love the
Great.
mixture of your originals and the mixture of your reimaginations of singles that we've all grew up listening to. So
Thank
um,
you. Thank
I'm looking forward to more, Courtney, and hopefully the next interview we're going to be back in your home studio and like doing this again.
I can't
So
wait. I hope so too.
well, thank you again for taking the time. Congratulations with Light. I can't
Thanks.
wait for more music and yeah, talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you.